I would argue we're going to be a month from now. We're going to be talking McKenna sweepstakes potentially. Just
called Mission McKenna.
Mission McKenna. We started last week. Yeah.
There you go. So that must have been on Thursday because I was on the show on Wednesday.
Right.
So I did not hear that.
That was before they blew
there's been 5 or 6 straight losses since then. So
that's a tough start, but it's a time to reevaluate, especially for us idiots that just talk the game and we don't have to be down there and deal with it. I said yesterday that the coach should make it as fun as possible because it's already coming across as they're stressed out. Because oddly enough, there's expectations this year, and they're going to have a hard time living up to them. Last year, there were none, and everything went well, and everyone played well, and they worked their asses off, and they were just enjoying the ride. This year, they're kind of expected, and they've been talking about it. They've been selling it as, you guys didn't believe in us last year, but we're back again, and we'll be good.
97 points
You're
this
not
year.
that
We're
good.
in.
You are what you are.
Right.
You should just be enjoying it. Huska looks stressed out to me. We said it yesterday. Yeah. We could be wrong, but rarely are.
Let me ask you a question because I'm trying to think as a player. I played on an expansion team, okay? Yeah. Minnesota Wild, before they had all these rules where it would make
a team good.
Right. That good right away. As a player, I'm trying to remember, did I not feel stressed? Did I not feel like I wanted to win every day? Did I not feel like, so I'm sitting there going, how did Jacques Lemaire approach things? I remember Jacques Lemaire one time saying, we had a practice and it was all systems. And I'll never forget this. He's like, you need to play like this every night or we're going to get killed. And it was basically like, he wasn't paraphrasing. He's like, you play like this, we're going to have a chance to win in every game. We might not win, but he said, we will be in every game and we will not embarrass ourselves. Because it was basically, I'm paraphrasing, but we're all cast-offs from other teams.
Yep.
Other teams didn't want you, okay? But we're this band of cast-offs, the replacements type of thing. And can we have a good year? Can we have success? So why I'm saying that is, while I was in that, I don't remember. I'm sure there was stress, and I felt that there was internal stress. You put it on as a player, you want to have success. But I think the coaches, the expectation was low. It's like we're an expansion team where we expect to lose. I remember Jacques having a conversation with me saying, you're the veteran goaltender. You're going to get some really tough assignments. And, Anaheim was struggling back then. And it was supposed to be my start. And he'd be like, no, you're playing the back-to-back in Colorado tomorrow. And I would be like, oh, okay, Sakic, Forsberg,
Sweet.
that whole nonsense, and Patrick Waugh, you name it. So, when I look at it, I'm looking at the Flames, like these guys, they're going to play their asses off. And Kadri and Coleman and, veteran guys who have won and take a lot of pride in their game, I don't know if their approach will be any different. You're saying from a coaching standpoint, make it fun. Like that's, I guess.
I'm saying, yeah, I think so. I would say,
because
we're a bit of a Debbie Downer in this room, and we're okay with it because of what you just said, because of the San Jose's and the Anaheims, and you can see how, okay, these guys are going to be good. Why are they going to be good? Not because they signed a free agent. Not because they made a trade, because they drafted well. And they drafted high talent, game-changing players.
Well, and you have to trust that Connie, when placed in that position, now it might just happen organically here. Let's be honest. It might just be organically. Like we're not, you don't have to sell off a bunch of players to bottom out. It just might organically, like maybe Dustin Wolf has a good season, not a great season. Maybe Kadri takes a step back from, maybe Coleman takes a step back from what he did last year, that type of stuff. It might just happen organically where it's like, okay, we have a decision to make. And I say it's Connie and his management group going, what are we doing here? Well, we're probably going to sell off some players or trade some players that will bring value back to our organization and trade either for young talent or high draft picks so that you can either retool on the fly, very young, or blow it up. And, I think the focus is at some point if they, for lack of better words, wave the white flag and go, we're in on McKenna.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? You know?
Well, like you said, they might, or they're last. Like
Yeah.
They're looking up at a team with 0 wins in San Jose. They're below them.
They're not establishing, and sadly, they haven't had the best of efforts. They've had a couple.
Yeah.
They've had some efforts in games, but never complete games. Maybe the last game was their
Closest,
most 60-minute effort.
They played well, but keep in mind, I think they're sitting there worried that we're going to get our heads beat in if we don't play well.
Yeah.
Like you know, that team is good. So I look at it and you know, I think these conversations are going to be had, but I felt like it's really early to have them. Like I kind of
but that's the situation they're in. They've created it by not winning, and they've had a tough schedule. And Wolf has been good, not great. You know, all the things. Kadri's not scoring. Coleman, like all the things that you just listed as to the reasons why they might not have success this year are present.
Well,
we have to be okay with that.
Let me ask you guys this: the team they're playing tonight is a pretty damn good template. Right.
Yep. Yes. Another example of what you're trying to be.
It wasn't scorched earth. It was, you know, we've been methodically.
It wasn't scorched earth, but boy, they did the right thing with asset management and with drafting.
That's drafting. That's developing. That's, you know, finding the right players in that progression of their retool / whatever that was.
Can I ask you about that? Because it stands out to me all the time. You've brought it up twice. You're going to make a trade and the team's not doing well and somebody wants Coleman. Okay. And you're going to evaluate, you're trading to a team and it's like, well, okay, well, what draft pick can I get? Or what young player can I get?
Right.
My concern with the young player is that the team giving up on that young player knows him best, right? It's a lot of times you're like, well, we're go pick up this Sharon Govich.
Yeah.
Out of Jersey. Well, Jersey knew what he was. They knew he could score, but they knew he was a bit of a dog.
Right.
And there's a lot of ups and downs. And that's what we've got here. We're like, can this guy play? He's not even playing now. He's 5.5. He's supposed to score 30. He's sitting in a press box.
Yeah.
Is there any extra fear of trading for a kid instead of a pick? Do you think? Because it's almost, to finish my thought on it, it's like coaching. Or if you're the GM, you only get so many coaches, right? And then you're out. Well, if you draft the kid in, say, the top 2, you get a 2nd round pick and you draft him and he's not progressing as much as you think, usually that's still an asset.
Right.
Whereas if you take a kid that was the 2nd rounder and put him into your lineup and he's still not doing it, that asset is not as high, right? Because there's more of a track record. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And you're always questioning, why is that team we're trading with willing to give up player X?
It's Kirby Doc tonight, Noodles. Like
I was just going to say Kirby Doc because I said, look at Chicago. Kirby Doc was 20 when they traded him to Montreal. 21. I think he was 21. And I remember thinking, why are they giving up on a 6'4" right shot, 21-year-old centerman that has upside? Like, what is Chicago seeing that Montreal isn't seeing? Now, there is the injury issues because he unfortunately hasn't been able to be super healthy, but he's a good player. But you're right. Like, Pinder, you beat me to the punch. I was sitting there thinking that was exactly what I was thinking. It's like, why is a team that is in a rebuild willing to give up a young guy? And the only thing I could think of is that when Chicago thinks they'd be good, Doc would either cycle out or cost them too much money to re-sign. So it's like, let's do it now. Let's flush it out. We're bottoming out. We got Bedard. Now we're going to build around, instead of 21 to 23-year-olds, it's going to be 18 to 21-year-olds. There's that next cycle. Because I think managers, and I think this would be a fair comment. If you sat down with any manager, they should be able to tell, they don't have to tell us in the media, they don't have to tell the fans, but they should be able to tell ownership what's our 1-year plan, our 3-year plan, and our 5-year plan. Okay? And all of them have different levels to it because in your 1-year plan, we're trying to make the playoffs. But if we're not going to make the playoffs, in our 1-year plan, it's accruing assets But when those assets are really good in year 3 or year 5, they're not going to be able to cost it. They're not going to cost too much, and that we're going to have to trade them because they priced themselves out. Like you have to have these plans that scale together and match what you're trying to get to. Connie's obviously trying to build a Stanley Cup winner. That's why you take the job. That's what you try and do. How do you do that when you have some old, some new, all of that? I don't know if you go scorched earth or you take the Montreal/New York Ranger mold, because that's what they did. It was basically the same person, right? Like that did that, Jeff Gordon, and he took that Ranger mold. They put out the letter, hey, we're rebuilding, all of that, and then they had one signing that kind of fast tracked it. I think it was Panarin, and then you start doing that. So I guess my point is coming back to it. You don't know. Like I would say, if there's like for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they don't have a lot of assets to give up right now. They covet this kid, Easton Cowan. If the Leafs feel that player X will get them over the hump to make them either a Stanley Cup contender or to win multiple rounds,
Nazem Kadri.
Yeah, well, they might have to think about trading somebody that they would price. Now, that's not, hey, we're seeing something that we got to get rid of this kid. It's the cost of doing business. So that's the only thing I would counter that with, Rhett.
Yeah.
The other thing with the Rangers in Montreal is oddly, they were in a playoff mix and then had a bad season. And when they bottomed out, they got the first overall pick. Rangers got Lafreniere. Montreal got Slavkovsky. You know what I mean? Like when they had that dip, it worked out perfectly for them. Now, maybe you want better talented or different types of generational players, as they say, but
not great draft classes. Okay ones.
But it's interesting how both of those kind of worked out.
Add on that too, Boomer. So say you're right, your playoff team, and then you have just a bad year like Boston last year. Yeah. But it's what you do with the assets that you trade in the deadline and all of that too. What did they get for Marchand? Because they made the finals, they got an extra first rounder, right?
Yeah.
So, and they moved out Trent Frederick, and they moved out Coyle and a bunch of guys. Yeah,
it's the deck chairs. Why you decide. So say you're a playoff team that last year, and you're not going to be a playoff team this year. Go scorched earth and try and get rid of things that you don't want moving forward.
But don't time out. Yeah, with your
you take a 1-year hiatus and like we're going to crash and burn here.
Tampa did it.
Burn it down, and that's what Boston did. They literally is like Marchand's out. They were moving players out. They shut guys down. McAvoy shut. Lindholm was down. Like all these guys. So like, yeah, we're just cashing out here. We try and get a pick, and we trade some of these players for high picks, and you restock the cupboards.
Would the fear in Calgary be, because that's the position they're in right now, for good or for bad? And you can say, well, the crappy part about it is it's so early on, or the good part about it is there's
clarity.
On.
There should be clarity.
I feel like it's clarity to me. You could argue that no, they got lots of time to dig out of this and to put a push on. I'm like, well, or you can accept what you are and play to that strength.
The luxury, I would say, on all of this, they have is time. Because, I don't know, unless you're playing with fire and your top trading pick gets hurt. You're playing.
That's the fear.
Rasmus.
So it's Rasmus. Like so.
Expiring deal. We went through this with Tanev 2 years ago. You're like, oh my God, he's going down the tunnel again. Like, did they just lose him for nothing?
Which he did go down the tunnel again. Isn't Tanev hurt now?
I think they lost.
Oh, it looked like I think he bumped heads with somebody last night in front of the net, and then I don't know what happened, but he didn't come back.
Sorry.
They need him. But you're right. That's asset management. It's like, okay, are we going to do this early so we're protecting an asset, but can't bubble wrap guys. Just got to let them play. But I think, there is time here to figure out. We all feel like what direction it's going to go, but you got to figure out when you take it in that direction. You got to maximize what you get back. You're not moving guys for the sake of moving guys. This is literally the future of the Calgary Flames. Literally.
Yeah. And I don't think Connie has a tough time with this. And I think fans will be patient and understand it because they've watched the team somewhere between 7th and 12th in the West for the bulk of the last 30 years. My one curiosity is about the guy we never hear from. It's the guy that owns the team and calls the shots. Is he willing to do that?
Yeah, that's the multi-million-dollar question. Yeah.
He would, I think, he doesn't want to do it. I don't think, my gut tells me he doesn't want to do it, but it might become real clear for him too.
Yeah.
And it might be an easier sell factor if you're 10 games in and you've got one win and you're going, well,
That's the thing, Noodles.
Plan B.
It is early, but they're on a 6-game losing streak in their 7th game,
and they
And they
shouldn't have won the
cannot-
first game.
Should've
and they
won.
cannot score. And I don't know that that's necessarily something they're just going to magically break out of for an extended period of time. They may get some 4 and 5 goal games, and that's whatever. But they look to be a low scoring team and have already got a 6-game skid under their belt.
Right. And you're sitting there thinking, how many of those you're going to have this year type of thing. And I get it. You know, it's funny, especially early on, how one win either, you know, can change how you look at things, or one bad loss can take, you know, like I'm in Toronto. Luckily that the Jays are going so well because of
No kidding.
black armbands for the Leafs right now, and they're 500. You know, they're 3-3-1. And, you know, Jersey handily beat them last night and looked like the better team. And people are like freaking out. And you're like, okay, so one convincing win or convincing loss. And you're like, okay, what is this team? Whereas in Calgary, right, 6 games without a win, you're like, okay, this has already become a long season and we're 7 games in.
Yeah.
Hey, buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.